Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to discuss my 5 favorite bronzer sticks of the moment. I've got the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Melting Bronzing and Sculpting Stick. I've got the Matchstick Contour Skin Stick by Fenty. I've got the Meritt Bronze Balm. I've got the ultra popular Warm Wishes Effortless Bronzer Stick by Rare Beauty. And I've got the Matte Bronzer Cream Bronzer Stick by Milk Makeup. Let's start off with the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Melting and Bronzing Sculpt Stick. Now, I have used this one all week long, so I have a lot of good things to say about it. One thing I really love is that it is extremely pigmented. This could be good or bad depending on how you like to use your bronzer. For me, I don't like to have to build a bronzer because then I just feel like I'm spreading it all over my face instead of really concentrating it in the areas that the sun has touched or make it look like the sun has touched. Instead, I kind of spread it out everywhere. So I prefer for a formula to have just more pigment so I'm not spending a lot of time blending it and possibly blending it too much out. So if you like very pigmented formulas, this is your formula. The packaging is great. It is very easy to take with you. It's definitely a travel type packaging. And I also really love the smell of chocolate. They say it smells like chocolate oranges. I just smell chocolate and I love it. I love chocolate. But for people who have skin issues and are really looking for a non-comedogenic formula, this might not be optimal for you. In my research, I found that anything with fragrance, whether it's skincare or it's your makeup, anything with fragrance ups the chance of you having a reaction to it. And it doesn't even have to be that you have sensitive skin. You can have normal skin. You can have skin that doesn't have any type of breakout issues or pore issues and still suffer from breakouts from fragrance in makeup and skincare. For me, I didn't notice any type of skin sensitivity. I am not prone to breakouts in general, but I also am prone to some redness and I didn't notice any of that. But if you're someone who is worried about formulas and how good it is for your skin, just being warned that it does have fragrance. One other thing that I noticed about this bronzer is that it only comes in 4 shades. Now, this might be because they just released it and they're looking to see how well it does. I personally feel that it's kind of lacking in the shade range. They do need to up their shades, but hopefully they do because their actual tones that they use are great. Like I feel like they're not too warm, they're not too cool, they're just right. So if they can just get their shade range a bit wider, even 4 or 5 more shades, then it will be more inclusive for everyone, right? I really love this bronzer. I've been using it all week and highly recommend this one if you can find it in your shade range and if your skin isn't sensitive to fragrance. Next, I have the Matchstick by Fenty Beauty, and this one is coined as being a contour stick, but people are definitely using it like a bronzer, and you can definitely use it like a bronzer. Now, what I really like about it is it comes in 9 shades, and it seems like they're really working on perfecting each tone. For example, I noticed that first there was an amber shade, and now they've come out with amber suede. Now, I may be wrong, but I think that's newer. I think that's a newer shade. I think they've improved on amber or made it a bit softer. And I think there's also a light amber. So I really love the tone of this. And I love how creamy it goes on, but it goes from a cream to a powder. And it's a long wear. When I wore this, I noticed it lasted at least 6 hours, which is great for me. Now, note, I do have dry skin, although it's not overly dry, and the products that I use on it make it lean more towards just normal skin with not too much oiliness and not too much dry. So this was perfect for me as far as the formula. I love the tone. It's a bit subtle. Like this is one of those that you have to build depending on what shade you get. But I also think they kind of created it to be buildable since it is more of a contour stick. Does that make sense? Because I think with contour, they don't want it to be super pigmented because when you put it on, it's like, whoa, right? Then you have to spend all this time blending it out. So if you're going to use this like a bronzer, just know it's more of a buildable formula. Now, with I think all Fenty products are non-comedogenic as well as being 100% cruelty free. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they are 100% cruelty free. And I found this super easy to blend since it is a buildable formula. So highly recommend this if you're looking for more of a buildable bronzer stick, or if you're looking for a contour stick that can also be used for bronzing. Going now to the Milk Matte Bronzer Stick. Now, this is a longtime favorite of people's, so I was really curious and I wanted to check it out. I was a bit taken back by how small this is. Like, I was like, whoa. So as far as packaging, it's not super luxurious for the price if you're looking for that sort of thing. But the great thing about this is that it's highly pigmented and it goes on really easily and you don't need a lot of it. And the formula isn't as creamy as the others I'm showing you today, and that might be to your advantage. It'll stay put for longer, I think, with a less creamy formula. For me, I haven't used this as an all-day wear sort of bronzer just yet. I've worn it during night events, you know, like going from day to night. This is really great for that. And even though it's highly pigmented, I still think it goes on super well. It sinks right into the skin and it doesn't give like a rough application, if that makes sense. It sinks right in, which I really love in all bronzer products. And another thing about this, it doesn't ever go patchy. You can wear it for hours on end and it will not patch up on you. Now, all of the bronzers we're talking about today are non-shimmer bronzers. So you're going to get a natural matte finish with them, more of that subtle sun-kissed look rather than that vibrant, look at me shimmer sun-kissed look. In a different video, if you guys are interested in a shimmer bronzer video, please let me know down below and I can rate some of my favorite shimmer bronzers. Next up, I have the Meritt bronzer stick, and this one is a great shade. As somebody with fair skin, I have to use contour and bronzer that's just more on the cool side. So this really caught my eye. Now, another really great advantage for people who this is important to is that it's vegan and it's cruelty free. And I believe all Meritt products are. Now, going back to the formula, I love the formula. And this is another formula that's buildable. So for people who don't want a ton of pigment, who aren't used to wearing bronzer, this is your bronzer. This is great with that. Now, as far as a contour, I don't really think it's a great contour just because I think it's so subtle that you're not really going to get a lot of contouring out of it, if that makes sense. So this is pretty high up on my recommendations. The shade range isn't great, but since it's not extremely pigmented, it's possible that you'll find your shade even if it's not your exact shade because you can build it, if that makes sense. So this is one of my recommendations. And I have purchased all these products. None were given to me in PR and none of them are, of course, sponsored. Next up is the Rare Beauty Bronzer Stick, and I have to say, this is my favorite, so I saved the best for last. There's something about this formula that is just amazing. It is buildable, but at the same time, it can stay put. It's very seamless. Like if you want to swipe it on and just pat it in, you can. If you want to layer it with a brush, you can. It's almost like a no mistake formula, if that makes sense. It wears so beautifully. It doesn't fade. I'm wearing it right now. It can last throughout the day and you don't feel it on your skin. It's quite weightless. It doesn't feel heavy, obviously, if it's weightless. And it just gives you this beautiful, subtle bronze look. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. But if you want more of a striking bronze, then you're just going to have to layer it on. It can also do that look. But I'm like highly impressed with this. Like this is definitely my favorite. They also have an 8 shade range, which huge applause for that. That's amazing. So highly recommend this one too. I hope you all enjoyed my favorite bronzers of the moment. Let me know what else you want to know about, what else you want me to do a video about. And thank you guys so much for watching and for being a part of this community. I'll see you all next time. Bye.